Hello, everyone. Just waiting a few more minutes. All right. Dwayne, I'm going to add you in as soon as I can remember. There we go.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Oh, it's been so long since I've had someone.
Wait, you're frozen. Oh no, maybe. Up now I hear you.
Am I back? Okay.
You're
Am I
back.
still frozen? Okay.
You are not frozen.
Sorry. I was trying to make my AirPods work. The technology, it's too much.
We live in the future.
Gosh, sometimes too much in the future. I took an Uber home from work and it was a Tesla. And I looked up from my phone and the driver was like checking his email. And I almost yelled at him like, "Sir, eyes on the road." And then I realized the car was driving.
You're right. Yeah. That would shock the crap out of me. I would be absolutely confused and then realize, oh yeah, car's gonna do car.
It was so strange. It had the like fold open like door. It's too much for me. Too much.
Yeah, you were riding in a DeLorean.
Yeah, it was insane, but very interesting. I'm glad I didn't scold the very nice driver. He did nothing wrong. Everything was fine. How are you today? Thank you for joining me. It's been forever.
Uh, I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for having me. Thank you for extending the invite. It's funny. It's fun being on the other side of the guest host scenario here. So yeah, thank
Well,
you for having me.
thank you. Yeah, of course. Always happy to have you back. It makes my job doing these lives so much more fun for me personally. So today you have agreed to come on and help discuss with everyone the COVID vaccine, but specifically the new booster shots that are out now. I think right now the recommendation is just about everyone. And now that they've been approved for folks to be vaccinated 5 and up for Pfizer, we're really out here. Everyone's out here now getting vaccinated, which is great.
Look, anything that can help anything that can help somebody make a decision and protect themselves, I'm with it. I'm big on people making the decision, following the science, but like making the decision for themselves. So we're not like yelling at people like get vaccinated or anything,
Right.
but we are going to provide the information so that you can, make the decision for yourself. And I'll be talking about my firsthand experience with the booster, because yeah, it's a thing.
It is a
It's a
thing.
thing.
I just realized I'm very much not used to leading the lives. I did not even ask you to introduce yourself. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. My name is Dwayne Lawson Brown. I am, uh, because I'm speaking on behalf of myself, I work in museums. I will say that. Um,
Mhm.
that is what I can say about that. But I'm a poet and I do a lot of work in the community. What's up, Dio Ashley Brown? What's up? I am Steph. Good to see y'all in here. I am a former member of the Whitman-Walker Health Team, and I still am very closely tied to the fam. And I still have a very deep and real passion for the well-being of us, of our community. So yeah, that's who I am.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah. I'm the Education and Training Coordinator at Whitman-Walker Health. And today, again, it's another Talk About It Tuesday. We're going to discuss the COVID vaccine booster. So just as like a brief overview of the vaccine, I know we hear a lot about it every day online, on TV, can't get away. The COVID vaccines in general are working to prevent severe illness, hospitalization, and potentially death from COVID-19. And even though the original two-dose Moderna or Pfizer or the single-dose Johnson & Johnson do work at preventing all of those things, even protecting us against that Delta variant that's really coming back with a vengeance, is there still, of course, the scientists, the powers that be that are studying this pandemic have started to see like over time a decrease in the number of antibodies that we have against COVID. And that's why they're recommending this booster, really just to give us another leg up, especially since all these variants are coming about. There's more contagious strains. And a lot of us now, especially folks who are vaccinated, we're getting or a lot more lax in our like protecting ourselves against COVID.
Hmm.
Now that things are opening up again, we're not getting tested as often. So those breakthrough infections are happening, not so much because the vaccines don't work, but because we're also not giving them like that extra leg up with how protective of ourselves we were being, say, 6, 8 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Something that, like, a lot of folks that I know have been like, well, if if the vaccine works, why do I need a booster type of thing? And I always point back to when I was a kid in elementary school and junior high school, right? You would go to school, and if you didn't have your shot records, you wouldn't be able to like continue on in school. And you would, get your shots, and then you would go back like maybe a year later and then get your booster shots. And so it's literally the same concept.
yep.
We're just reinforcing the antibodies so that, little homies can protect you and make sure that you're well against this virus.
Yeah. Like I know things feel like they're happening really fast and like how new and scary COVID is, but like a lot of the overall concepts of the vaccine and the booster, like you said, are the same things we've had to do forever, like for decades now, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. So right now, CDC is recommending you get the booster either 6 months after your Pfizer or Moderna vaccines, or if you're one of the J&J folks, then about 2 months after you can go and get you can go and get the booster. Did you want to? I haven't received my booster yet. I'm someone who does get the side effects from the vaccine, so I'm trying to be strategic about when I plan my appointment, so I know I have like a day after, just in case I have the same side effects and I need a day off. I don't want it to interrupt things too much.
You
Um,
are smart.
you know,
Oh, you are so very smart. Because my silly self,
tell me
yeah,
about it.
like I also, so for context, vaccines affect different people in different ways, and the from what I've heard from people I personally know, Pfizer has had fewer side effects for them. Um, Others I've heard, like, oh, like, I got the vaccine and I was fine.
Mhm.
I am a Moderna Mo, and so When I got my initial vaccine, it was like, okay, first shot, I'm cool. Didn't feel anything until exactly 24 hours later. I was ready to go to sleep and just be asleep. I woke up the next day and was fine, but it was like 6 p.m. the following day, bedtime. Like
Yep.
I don't need to do anything else but sleep. Um, Round two for my second shot, um, it was a bit more harsh. Um, I was sleepy. I got some sweats, and stuffy, and that
Mm.
lasted for about a day and a half, versus the immediate 24 hours, and I'm good. But then after that, I was fine. So I came in, and mind you, I did not plan like you are planning. My silly self, I went in like, all right, I'm gonna get my booster before work.
Oh,
I'm gonna
no.
work my I'm gonna work my shift,
Yep.
and then I'm gonna go home and go to sleep. Right? Mind you, this is also the day before Halloween. So just or not the day before Halloween. This was the Friday, and Saturday, like everybody was out and about doing their Halloween stuff. So I get my booster. I'm fine. It was a so setting the scene. It was a open vaccination clinic sort of situation, that was ran by DC Department of Health,
Mhm.
and they had Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J available for everybody who was interested in getting either their second shot, or their booster.
Oh,
So
nice.
they were doing whatever folks needed, and they were making it happen because the line was massive. Um, so get called up. I'm like, hey, slide them my card. They do all the paperwork, and then I get the shot. It's a shot, so the initial pinch, soreness in the arm because somebody just jabbed you with a metal thing.
Yep.
Um, then after that, I got to work, and about 3 hours later, I started to
Mm.
feel a little sleepy, right? I expected that, but I didn't expect it to be so soon.
Mhm.
So the sleepies were starting to affect me, but I didn't, go to sleep at work. Shout out to staying awake. Um, got home. My goal was to do this without Advil or anything and just like power through. I must have woken up every hour until
Oh.
about 6 a.m. And that was on me being stubborn. That was
Mhm.
my decision to not use Advil and try to just power through it. The reality is, the moment I took the Advil, it stopped the body aches, and I was fine. And I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day and was fine. I put on my little makeup and went out as
Mhm.
Harley Quinn. It was not a problem at all.
Good.
So my suggestion, if you're getting your vaccine or your booster, to definitely have some type of like, I won't say not muscle relaxer, but like Advil, ibuprofen, something that like a fever reducer, just to have that on deck in case you do have the night sweats and the chills and all that stuff. But other than that, it was a smooth situation.
Yeah, I feel like because we talked about our first two vaccines um way back when they first came out,
Ooh,
and we had very
January.
similar reactions to them. It was so long ago, it's been almost a year. And we had very similar reactions as far as the side effects. But it's interesting because like you touched on the point that, everyone's body reacts differently to the vaccine. Because I got Moderna and my mother also got it. And I got mine first, and I was like, oh man, like for a full like 12 to 24 hours between the first and second vaccine, like I was out like a light, had to sleep, like cold flu like symptoms, just had to go to bed. Fine, would do it 100 times over. But I made
Mhm.
sure I told people just to make sure that like like make sure you're prepared. Don't do it the day before you have like a really important like meeting or a busy day, like, because you may just really need to, you may need to take a nap, and like that's all there is to it, and it may be like a heavy nap, like you may have to go to bed. And I told my mom, and she went and she got it, and the next day she called me mad because she didn't have any side effects.
Wow.
And so that meant that she had to go to work, and she had really anticipated like a reason for having a day off, which is funny. But when she got the booster, which I thought was really interesting, because my aunt, her sister, had similar reaction to the first 2 doses, like nothing, but both of them for the vaccine, for the booster, did have those side effects. So just to say that you really like can't tell, like it really could be one way or the other. And so just like to prepare yourself in case you do have some side effects, but just to keep in mind that they do go away. And within 24 hours of symptoms like setting in, just as quickly they're completely gone and you're back to normal. You're okay. I think that the FDA website was saying symptoms, if you have them at all, last 1 to 3 days at most.
Yeah.
And those severe like allergic reactions are extremely rare. Extremely rare.
Yep. Yep. And that's why they have you, after you receive your shot, they have you wait for 15 minutes just to make sure that, you aren't going to have a extreme reaction. Yeah, the whole process is geared around trying to make sure folks are safe, and making sure that it's accessible.
And did they make you wait the 15 minutes for the booster also?
Yep.
Good. Yeah, I have to get mine. You can sign up for them either at Whitman-Walker. We have appointment slots for the booster as well. We don't have Pfizer. We only have Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, but you can choose what you get. That's also something that's really interesting with the booster, is that you can do the mix and match. So it doesn't matter doesn't matter at all which vaccine you got originally. You can choose. My mom was of the thought, I already have 2 Modernas, so this third one, we're going to make it a Pfizer. Just get all of them in there.
There you go.
And like, that is fine. I have no
You can collect them like the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, like I have no science to support that it makes a difference, but like if that makes you feel better, like please go for it. Like getting the vaccine at all is like best. Like you really should just do what is best for you. Are there anything that you've heard from other people about the vaccine that you think would be good to know about, like setting up appointments or anything?
There are a ton of, so let's say you're somebody who's uninsured and you're worried, like, how am I going to pay for this thing? There are actually a lot of free resources around receiving the vaccine or the booster. For instance, when I went to this like open clinic, open vaccine clinic, they never asked for insurance. They never asked for like well, they did if you are like fully insured or like all this stuff, because insurance is required to cover it here in DC. So that's a thing. But if you're uninsured, they're not going to be like, oh, we can't do this for you. No, like you still get your shot and DC covers it. So definitely take the opportunity if it is something that you've been like thinking about and you've been wanting to do, but you didn't know how you were going to pay for it. Just like make that call, see what's up.
Definitely. And I just wanted to touch on we went and looked at, what are the questions we get the most? Because Whitman-Walker, we've been, making the rounds, calling patients who we don't have a record of getting the vaccine, just to check in and see if we can offer a helping hand. And question that we get asked a lot, the first, of course, being, is it safe? And I just wanted to reassure folks, how long has the vaccine been out? Like about a year now, almost. And it is safe. And now we know that Pfizer is FDA approved. I know that a lot of people were really waiting on that like official seal of approval before they, allowed themselves to get it. And we got it, which is great. like Moderna is still working on it, but like Pfizer is there. And now that, you know, the that crazy rush to get it is gone now, it's well fairly easy to set up an appointment and choose the vaccine that you get, instead of kind of, you know, getting in wherever you could and just like kind of accepting what they offer you. You can choose which vaccine you're most comfortable with. And it is safe. And, you know, a lot of people ask that follow-up question is like, well, if I get this vaccine, like, is it going to give me COVID? We get a lot because I think that the news tries to explain the vaccine a lot, but like, even for me working in a healthcare setting, it can be really hard to follow along and understand like spike protein this and, you know, antibodies that. It can be really overwhelming.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but, you know, they're not injecting you with with COVID. The only way you'd be able to get the virus through a vaccine would be to have them inject you with the virus, which is not what's happening. So you will not get the virus just from getting the vaccine. Even if you do experience some of those side effects, that is just your body, you know, kind of kicking itself into high gear, getting ready to fight off an infection if it were to occur, right? So it's
Hmm.
not, the kind of that conversation happens a lot with the flu vaccine as well, where it's like, well, I got the flu shot and now I have the flu. And it's like your body is really just preparing yourself to fight it off. And that, like we said, within 24 hours, like you're okay. You're back to
Um,
normal.
the comparison I would use for that is like if you know how people do like push-ups and sit-ups and then right afterwards their body is sore. Well,
Mm,
it's not that, you know, all of a sudden your body is like hurting. It's because you're working out.
yep,
You're building that strength. And so your immune system is doing the same thing. It's doing its push-ups, its sit-ups. It's building that strength so that it can fight to protect you better.
absolutely. That's so great. I didn't think of it that way. That's awesome. Um, and another thing that I wanted to make sure that I touched on before we ended was that, you know, a lot of people I've talked to who still haven't received the vaccine, if it's not that they don't like fully trust it, it's that they're someone who already had COVID in the past and are now like, well, you know, I already had it once, so like I'm good now. I have those antibodies. Um, but we know now after studying folks over the last almost 2 years, gosh, is
To
that
you.
that natural immunity that you get from having the virus does not last forever. It certainly does not last as long as the antibodies you get from having the vaccine. Um, and there's even still those breakthrough infections. So really what you're trying to prevent, again, is that severe illness, hospitalization, and death from COVID. So I can never tell anyone, you know, if you get the vaccine, you'll definitely not get COVID, because we know that that's not true. Your risk is significantly lower. But if you do happen to get COVID, the likelihood of you becoming severely ill or passing away from it is next to nothing, right? So you're
And
really just safeguarding yourself.
it is uh in theory the condom against COVID.
Yes.
You know, the a condom's not going to guarantee that you won't get an STI or become pregnant, but it
Mm-hmm.
does significantly cut the risk. And so that's what we're using the COVID-19 vaccine for as well. It's a chance to really cut down the risk,
Mm-hmm.
and anything along those lines that can help save a life,
Mm-hmm.
priceless to me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so I guess before we head out, is there anything that you would want to say to someone who's, you know, still on the fence about even just getting the vaccine in general?
Um, I would say pretty much what you just said about it's not about completely preventing the virus altogether. It's
Mm-hmm.
about reducing the chance of you actually dying from the virus. And that your life is worth it. Your life is worth a couple of days of, you know, like not even coughing, but more a couple of days of sweat, in some in some muscle pain,
Yeah.
um, it's you're worth sticking around for. And so uh, do a strong inventory on what you can do and how you can protect yourself. Um, yeah, and get information from folks that are like, like scientists and health educators and people who are doing the work, like you,
Yeah.
Hannah.
Thank you. We are always here to help. I encourage folks who are on the fence to ask questions. If, getting those like nagging questions answered is the thing that's going to make you or allow you to like feel comfortable in getting the vaccine, like ask those questions. But like you said, like ask them from people who know, ask them of people who are in the field. We're really, inundated with a lot of social media and, outside of healthcare opinions. I encourage you to ask folks in healthcare, the folks who are, creating the vaccine, like ask a scientist, ask someone who knows, because they're the ones that are going to give you the answers that you need.
Yo, ask Fauci. Fauci will like respond. Like
How'd you know?
he'll just pull up. He was walking through the hood trying to get people to get the vaccine. So yeah,
He really
like
is
just
everywhere. Every once in a while, it'll be like, oh, like come to the anthem, like have a talk with Fauci, and I'm like, why are you here? But
oh,
he's doing excellent work.
make it happen, yo. Be where the people are. Know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He's gonna be at stadium. It's gonna be lit.
Oh my god.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. I'm going to let you go. I still have announcements to make, but I'm not going to hold you. Thank you so much. It's always so much fun being able to just sit and talk to you.
It's a joy. This has been a pleasure, and anytime. My info is still the same, and I'm still real talk in my heart. So yeah,
It was nice
peace.
talking to you. Bye.
Bye. Now, how do I exit? Oh God,
You got
how
to do it because I don't know.
how do I leave?
All right. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for joining. For anyone who still has questions about the COVID vaccine, or for those of you that maybe we've convinced, please give us a call and you can set up an appointment or talk to someone from our community health team to answer your questions. I'll make sure I leave the number in the description once I post this video, but for those listening, please give us a call. The number is 202-207-2480. Again, if you have questions or are ready to make an appointment, that number is 202-207-2480. And if you would like to go somewhere closer to home, it is really easy to go online and look up the nearest vaccination site near you. You can also go to a local pharmacy or grocery store like Giant and get the vaccine there as well. So the options are endless. Again, Dwayne, thank you so much for joining. And for those of you who tuned in to listen, thank you so much. We will have a Ask a Tester presentation tomorrow. You can speak with my coworker, Monique, about, some hard-hitting questions about getting testing done at Whitman-Walker Health for HIV and STIs. Otherwise, everyone have a wonderful evening. Happy Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week. Goodbye.